Good day, everybody. Today is the 10th of October, 2023, and yeah, there's never a dull moment with things going on in the world today. But it's late in the evening. Well, not late. It's nearly 6 o'clock, and I have classes later in the evening on Thursdays. So, it starts in the morning and it goes till the evening, so it's a long day. So that's why I'm a little bit late today. But let's talk about what's going on here today. As far as the big news, as usual, what's going on in Israel and Palestine right now. Some of the funny news. I don't know if this is true or not, but they say that the people in Hamas have not been detected by Israel, at least not by interception of any messages, because Hamas is using Huawei phones. Huawei. I don't know if that's true. It's very strange. So they say it's true that they do use Huawei phones, and of course, I guess the West can't hack the Huawei network. They can hack Apple, believe it or not, and they do, even though they say they don't, but they do. You guys know that. And of course, easily Samsung and all that sort of, any of these other Android type phones, as well as the Apple. So I guess you can expect some more sanctions on Huawei as time goes by. I mean, that's a given, of course. Some guy looking at me, I don't know, probably wanted to ask me to buy him a drink or something, you know. I think that's one of those types of guys. Let's see. Yeah, still looking. He's still looking. Well, you know how it is. There's a couple of these guys everywhere, Germany or USA or, yeah, even Belarus. I'm going to try to knock this video out because it's getting dark. So, like I said, look for more fun against Huawei. Probably this is just an excuse. They'll look for any excuse to do certain things that they want to do. They'll look for any excuse to go after Iran, for example, and that's looks like something what they want to do. There's a bus going to try to get through here. Trolleybus, по-русски. Oh, and something else you can expect. Old Zelensky has come out and said that Russia is behind this attack that's going on now in Israel and Palestine. Well, that was expected as well, wasn't it? He said they have data to prove it, like they've had all this data all the time for all these things, and they never seem to produce it. That's how that goes. But there's also data that says weapons that were sent to Ukraine ended up in Palestine with Hamas. What about that data? I guess that data doesn't count, does it? So it makes you wonder who is in on all these weapons deals. I mean, it was given directly to the Zelensky regime, and then yet it ended up, I guess a lot of them have ended up in Mexico too, with the drug cartels. And I guess there's going to be a lot more ending up in a lot more nefarious places, and everybody's predicting that. Maria Zakharova and Dmitry Medvedev and so many other people said that these weapons are going to end up in Ukraine, and people are saying that they're going to end up in Mexico, and they certainly did. Surprise, surprise. And they always have been, believe it or not. Probably if you go way back, at least to the 80s, the U.S. shoveling these weapons and things all over the place, they always get traded off. But in the case of Ukraine, they just got traded off an awful lot more than they ever have in the past. Where do I want to go? Lindsey Graham, as expected, he's looking for some place to bomb, and the United States is already sending all these weapons, and I'll get more into that too, to Israel, but he's now talking about bombing Iran, you know. So, and they have absolutely zero evidence that Iran is involved in this. But yet he wants to bomb Iran. I'm sure there's a lot of these neocons, they've been wanting to bomb Iran for a long time, And the Pentagon has come out just, was it today? Today, or was it late yesterday? I'm not sure exactly when they announced it, but I read it today. The article came out earlier today, and it says that the Pentagon said, this is not the article, this is what the Pentagon said. They even have the name of the spokesperson, said that they have plenty of weapons to send to both Israel and Ukraine. Strange. But they just said they were running out of weapons and they had to send the cluster munitions to Ukraine. But now they say they have plenty of weapons to send to both places. Surprise. Well, I've been saying that. Most of the vloggers have missed that, unfortunately. They've been saying, oh yeah, they're running out of weapons. I haven't said that. I might have said that they said that, but I'm not saying that they were running out of weapons, because they're not. The United States has plenty of weapons. I've said that all the time. They've got weapons all over the world in stashes like you would never believe. Even if their production is not at this moment as high as what Russia is producing, they still have plenty of weapons, because they've made plenty of weapons over the years and years, and they were making a lot more weapons over these past years than Russia has been making over these past years, a lot more. And so they have plenty of weapons. And now they're finding them, apparently. I don't know. And oh, what am I doing? Jumping ahead here? Whose fault is that? That's your fault somehow. Like I said, I'm not that shocked about that. And it's easy to figure that one out, because what is the biggest industry in the United States? Ah, the military-industrial complex. Yes, I remember back in my day, they were just going hand over fist. They were just going fast and furious making weapons. That was in the 80s and 90s. The United States recently has came out and said they have more than doubled their ammunition and weapons manufacture. So, you know, that's a response to Ukraine. So, and they've been supplying HIMARS launchers to Poland. You know, but they don't have any for Ukraine. And you know what that means? It means that they're getting frustrated with Ukraine and they're just sending less weapons, and they want to say that. But then, of course, they have to come out verbally and say, we're in it till the end. We're going to keep sending weapons to Ukraine, no matter what. And of course, Russia's working 24 hours a day making weapons. Of course, that's for their own conflict. That doesn't mean they have so many factories like the United States, you know, have had a lot of factories in a lot of places, a lot more than Russia has. And Russia, of course, has just recently started to increase their venues for making weapons as well as making the weapons themselves. But it's the support for Ukraine has started to die out a little bit since August, as everybody knows. Counteroffensive has not been so successful, and the United States, of course, they're sending people there, and there's a lot of mercenaries. And I think I was announcing in August, they're getting mercenaries from all four corners of the globe. A lot of these people from the Middle East, they're now probably going to be going back. I don't know. You don't know. I hear that the Chechens are now, a lot of them are going back maybe to Chechnya to go back to now get sent down to Palestine. I don't know if that's true or not. The United States obviously has been getting stingy with Ukraine, and now all of a sudden they have plenty of weapons that they're going to send to Israel. Israel obviously is a lot more important. I mean, Ukraine, they don't like Ukrainians. The Americans, I'm talking about the government, the administration, they don't like Ukrainians. Of course, they don't like Polish people either. They dislike Russians more than they dislike Ukrainians, but they don't like Ukrainians. And that's all just a big plot, because they can use the Ukrainians to kill the Russians and then go ahead and try to go get the resources of Russia. That's just, in a nutshell, what it's all about. Most of you watching this channel already know all that. You know, if there's anybody new, you know, and that's what surprises them, you know, or they don't believe it. Oh, sorry. But already the United States, there are planes already landing, and have been landing today, and even, I think, probably even yesterday, delivering weapons to Israel. Lots more weapons. lots more ammunition. Isn't that strange? It took so long for them to get any kind of weapons to Ukraine, and they're sending them in through Poland, you know. And I think a lot of times they were going by ship, and they're going like to Klaipėda, Lithuania, and then from Klaipėda down through Latvia, and then through Latvia, and then through Poland, and then to Ukraine. So they're taking the slow routes all the time. But they're getting them really fast to Israel within 24 hours. Incredible. Yeah, and the question is, a lot of people are saying, oh, is this going to be a long war, or is this going to be a short war? And of course it all depends. The U.S. wants war with Iran, as I said, and they want to stop Iran's development. And it's not just because they truly do believe that the Iranians are Untermenschen, just like they believe most everybody are Untermenschens, except for the British and the Israelis, and everybody else on the globe are very big Untermenschen. Germans, so they're okay. I don't understand why, I seriously, and this sounds kind of strange that I'm saying this sort of stuff, and I don't understand why the U.S. thinks that way, but you can see by their actions over decades, many decades, that that's exactly how they act. You know, maybe it's because they go with where the big billionaires are located. A lot of rich and powerful people are either Israeli or they're related to a lot of Israelis. And of course the British, you know, they got the Rothschilds there and a lot of other big shots up there. And the financial system is not just based in New York, but it's also based in London. So it's not very difficult to figure all that kind of stuff out. They got a financial system, of course, the EU financial system, most of that is based in Germany, Frankfurt, but it's just not as powerful as, and sneaky as the other places are. Germans go more by the rules, at least they used to, not maybe so much anymore, now that you got different types of people in the government, as you all notice, and they're compromised, and yeah, they'll do anything what the United States tells them to do, some of these people right now. Baerbock, I don't know, is she American? She's not German, that's true. I mean, she speaks German, maybe she was born there, maybe she lives there, maybe she's in the German government, but she's certainly not German. She's, I'm not sure if she's Ukrainian or American. We have to figure that one out, because, you know, you have to judge people by their actions, and nothing else. And what is Baerbock showing us, huh? Schultz is definitely an American. So, but the U.S. has been trying to get Egypt involved in this, and they have a lot of leverage on Egypt. I heard that partly from Clayton Morris, and it's a lot with trade and all that. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Egypt's trying to stay neutral in any kind of conflict between Israel and Palestine, but the U.S. is really pushing them, and you saw how they were pushing so many. They push India. They're pushing so many people to go against Russia. That a lot of these countries, they've had enough power to be able to stay out of it. Let's see if Egypt will. I don't know. Looking for ways, and you know, Egypt has a small border with the Gaza Strip, not with the West Bank. West Bank is bordering Jordan. Jordan is, you know, they try to stay neutral, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to stay that way. And Israel has already started bombing South Lebanon. I don't know if that's going to get, maybe that's just to protect the fact that they hold the Sheba Farms, which is technically Lebanese, just like the Golan Heights is technically Syrian. So let's see. Makes you wonder if this is going to expand to go further. That's what I mean. Is this going to be a long war, or is it going to be a short war? If it's just against Hamas, it's definitely going to be a short war. But now, I don't know. See, Lebanese, they don't have the power either. So even if it's against Hamas and Hezbollah, it's going to be somewhat short. And by short, I mean it's going to be either 1 month or maybe to 6 months. You know, long war, I don't know. Is 1 year, is that considered a long war? I don't know. I think any war that goes over 1 year is probably considered a long war. But you know, Israel has had some of these 7-day wars and these short wars and in their past for a long time. But the real hat trick is that Israel, you know, as the United States lacks respect for so many people, of course, like I said, except for the Israelis and the British, you know, any high respect That's the only two people they really respect highly. Maybe the Canadians. I call the Canadians like Americans anyway, but the Israelis, I think they call themselves God's chosen people. So actually, they don't have much respect for anybody. Maybe they can tolerate certain peoples like British and Americans and all that, but as far as all their neighbors, they, in a sense, really hate them. I'm not talking about all Israelis, because it's not true about all Israelis, but of course they try to indoctrinate all their people to hate all of their neighbors. So you guys all know this stuff. This is all about, money and power as well as respect. And of course you dehumanize your enemy or your opponent so that everybody thinks that they're less than human, and that's how they get these people to go around and kill anybody that these masters of the universe want to get killed. And of course, it's going to be the Lebanese possibly, and the Syrians, any sort of Arabic types peoples, and the Iranians. So that's not very difficult. And of course, like I said, you have to look, how does it look in practice? And that's what it's been showing in practice, because what's going to happen is, what is already happening, is they're slaughtering, and they said they're going to wipe out Hezbollah. It's sort of like, I'm just saying sort of like, Russia wants to wipe out Nazism, not the Ukrainians at all. They want to get rid of Nazism. But the Israelis, they want to get rid of people, which are Hamas, anybody in Hamas. They're not trying to get rid of, Hamas is not an ideology. It's a they call militants or group. So they want to wipe out them. That means kill in blood. Russia wants to get rid of the ideology. So there's a difference as far as materialists. One is ideological and one is people, is life, humanity. Yeah, but like I said, the United States, they don't respect any Slavic people. I've said before that the Ukrainians are nothing more than useful idiots. I'm not trying to insult the Ukrainian people necessarily, though, but it's what the ideology has done. It's made them into useful idiots. And they will kill their own people. As a matter of fact, if you look at the ideology that runs Ukraine, they are killing their own people. So, and it's not that different. They kill the Russians, and the ideology will end up killing the Poles if it ever gets that far, maybe even the Latvians, and so on and so forth. And if it starts to permeate again throughout the rest of Europe, in a way it sort of is. It's not like the neoconservatives, neoliberals. They're a little bit like the Nazis, They have the superiority things, and the neocons just want to dominate everybody. They don't think they're superior. Very strange, but anyway, they're all very close. You guys all know that. I mean, by now, if you watch my videos and you watch what's going on in the world, you already have a feeling for how these people operate and what they think. Like what did Obama say? He's a neoliberal, and he says we're the exceptional people, like the master race, the God's chosen people. They think there's some sort of a superiority in them. And of course, the neocons don't say that. They just want to dominate, and kill anybody. Yeah, I don't know. For power. Yeah, they want to kill Slavic people in the West. I didn't say Russians, I said Slavic peoples. So anyway, these people, like I said, the Obama's people, neoliberals, they've been teamed up with the God's chosen people to subjugate the Untermenschen for quite some time. All of the masters of the universe, you got the Soros Open Society Foundation, the World Economic Forum, and of course you have the neoliberals and the neocons, Zionists and neo-Nazis. All these people, they're all a big team, They're all in the same league, I suppose you can say. And they want to get rid of all the people that, that seek to live in peace, respect. And if you don't acknowledge them as the masters of the universe, I'm talking about government-wise, if you're a government and don't acknowledge these people, including the Soros Foundation and the neoliberals and the Zionists, as the master race, then you're the enemy. You are the enemy. And well, look at Ukraine. Look at what they're doing to their own people. Like this energy minister of Ukraine, that's one of the last things I have to say. Galushenko, he told the Ukrainian people to stock up on firewood because nothing has been repaired. That was his words, and nothing has been repaired. And a lot of the people now in Ukraine, I'm talking about the winter, stock up on firewood because they didn't repair any of the heating systems or anything like that. And it's probably like it is over here. Here in, and I think it's in Russia as well as Belarus, they have centralized heating. And the heating is done at a certain place over there. For this district, if I can show it to you, I don't know if you can see in the distance, this red and white smokestack way over there. That's the centralized heating for this area, and it's piped through different ways, and it goes into the apartment building, because most of the time, that's one thing about these apartment buildings, and that's why it makes it easier with this centralized heating system. They pipe it right into the apartment buildings, and of course, thereby they can heat all these apartment buildings. And as you know how heating works, it's not like electricity where each individual household pays a bill. The heating, it goes like per stairwell. So, and whatever the meter reads for the stairwell, it's divided up amongst all of the people living in that stairwell, and they pay a portion of whatever that heating is. And I feel that's about the same in Ukraine. So I'm almost positive that it is. But they have not repaired those systems in Ukraine, and that's why they're saying something about firewood. And I don't know how they're going to heat these Mnoga Kvartirny Dom houses, apartment buildings, with firewood. So your guess is as good as mine. And all the people are now asking, well, whatever happened to all these billions? And I'm talking billions, the billions that the United States sent to us to repair all these systems, specifically to repair all these things. What happened to all that money? When none of it has been repaired. Oh, well, I guess somebody's got some new mansions. Rezhnikov has got, a nice, big, huge complex for his daughter for a wedding gift with swimming pool and all these houses in Cannes. And Zelensky's buying mansions all over the place. Well, that's where you can find out where all your money's gone, people from Ukraine. And then you can ask yourself, are you satisfied? Are you satisfied with letting them grab you off the streets, give you 1 week of training, put a rifle in your hand, say, point this end at the enemy and pull this little thing here, it's a trigger, and we're going to put you in a position where they're going to kill you unless you kill them first. Jeez. Anyway, that's about all I have to say today. And you guys all know the gist of what I'm saying, and all of this stuff that I'm saying is true, even though it's said from a perspective. And I'm sure most of you sympathize with the perspective, and maybe you have the identical perspective as I do. So, but hey, I haven't forgot this time. If you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe. And I say in the future, and things are getting kind of close, but we had a little bit of a change where we were going to have the podcast, the live podcasts. It's changed back to the other place, and of course things are still going pretty quickly. And I think it's still, let's see, today's the 10th. It should happen still before the end of October, where we're going to be doing live broadcasts. So, and that'll be like twice a week. It'll be, I think, about 2 hours. And like I said, I'm still going to have the other venue, and I told them I wouldn't say anything about it, but that one should come about as well. I don't know if it's going to be in October. Like I said, it was supposed to be by the 1st of October. It's supposed to be in September. So let's see what happens there. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't, and I appreciate you guys joining me, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, and bye-bye.